All right. George Kilpatrick, inspiration for the nation, celebrating people we feel good about. H. Bernard, Alex, Dr. Bishop, forgot all that. He's a DeWitt Town Councilor, president of the Syracuse National Action Network, pastor of the Victory Temple, and I probably forgot some things, but
it's all good.
Before we, and he's a native of Syracuse, and so before we, I was driving downtown DeWitt, New York, and on the marquee was something that I thought I would never see. But I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But first, I texted my daughter about this thing. I'm gonna keep y'all in suspense, and she's like, in my lifetime, my daughter said to me, I can't believe it. So we'll talk about what I saw in the town of DeWitt. But before we get to what DeWitt is going to do that's really historic, quite frankly, I want you to give your reflections on the loss of our great community pioneer, Judge Langston McKinney, and your reflections of what you think he meant, his legacy, what he meant to you, and what do you think he meant to this community?
Judge McKinney represented so much to so many people, but for me and for my family, because George, at this station in my life, I have kids and I've included, we got to tell it all ministry. And because if it's going to help people get to where they have to be, to let them know that where you are is not who you will be. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we had just recently been married, because in November, it'll be 38 years that we've been married.
Congratulations.
And shortly after being married and all, we, in between jobs, we had fallen behind on our what we would call our soon to be, what do they call it? Rent to own. Rent to own home with Syracuse Model Corporation. And we had a home on Midland Avenue, 2323 Midland Avenue. Mm-hmm. And we had fallen behind, and we had to go to court about that. And Gingy and I were just talking about it and saying, oh my gosh, she was like, oh, I was so embarrassed. I said, I wasn't embarrassed. You know me, I was not embarrassed. Although I was more ashamed as a man,
Right.
Take your wife, and I'm trying to work, and all that stuff. It was just a rough time. But anyway, what judge did we have to go before? We had to go before Judge Langston McKinney. OMG, man. When we went in and he looked and he said to me, he said, Brother Alex, and he's talking to the people at, Model Neighborhood, their representative. He said, how much time do you need? Now, you tell me how much time you think you need to get together. I said, sir, if I could just have 30 days. He said, I'm going to give you 60 days. He said, because everybody needs a little grace. He said, if he's not ready in 60 days, y'all come back and we'll start doing what we got to do. Well, fast forward, we were able to recover. And that deposit that he put in me, I will never forget. Those words, everybody needs a little grace. I said 30. He said, I'm going to give you 60 days.
Wow.
And I will never forget that. In some of the most, public, struggles and marching on this place, reason for me. And he became, that statement that he made became a moniker, man. It became, everybody needs a little grace. That when you're ready to wipe people out, sometimes we want to judge people harshly. They just don't know. They need a little help. They just need a little something. And every time I would see him and we would talk and I would bring that up, he said, yeah, but look at you now. He meant so much to me. And I would tell him that. I remember going to the dedication of McKinney Manor. I remember that. I remember going when he was up against Fitzpatrick. I remember them rough days.
Talk
I
about the
remember
thing
all.
with Fitzpatrick, because I that to me is a seminal moment in the community activism of this city. One of the moments that I'll never forget, where you had babies, my wife and the babies, and all of that.
Yep.
And it had to do with, he was not allowing some of the evidence, I believe, because it wasn't, the paperwork wasn't all the way there, and he was like, "Nope, I'm not allowing this." And so I think the DA wanted to censor him or something, something to that effect. As I recall, and I may not have it all right together, but it was something to the effect. He and Judge Kate Rosenthal, at the time, had to deal with that.
Yes, they had to deal with that, and there was a call put out, that he was going to be sanctioned and he was going to be censored, and he was going, and Fitzpatrick was coming at him. Man, the call went out, and when I say the call went out, and people showed up like you and Gloria with her babies and carrying babies, and the men, people. The courtroom was packed, and I remember talking to him one day about that too, when we were standing down there on the steps of City Hall, and with Van Robinson and all of them, and talking about things. And he said, "Man, he told, let me get this right. I think he told, Kate, told, right? Am I right? Yes. He told her, see, you need to call your people. You need to make sure you got some people." And he said the reason he was able to do what he did is because he knew he had his people. And I say that he knew he had his people is because his people knew he had them.
Right?
Because his people said, when he showed them a little grace, with drug court and being innovative and things in the judicial system that in Syracuse, we just didn't see. We weren't used to seeing a black man, or for real black man. You ain't wonder, you ain't question, was he really black? You knew he was black. Because some of us, we like, are they black? I wonder if no. Judge Langston McKinney wore his deep melanin resonant sound and voice, and his confidence in his eye and his, he represented pride and a legacy. He embodied, man, that whole 1619, y'all ain't gonna keep me down mindset. But he did it in a way that showed if you are consistently consistent, you can demand the respect of all people. And people respected that about him. He was just a brilliant man. His mind was always going. He was always thinking. He was a scientist of the law and a scientist of conversation.
That's a great, there you go. There you go. A scientist of the law. And that is an apt description.
Well, he was a scientist of the law because in chemistry and science, he studied and took it apart to its smallest denominator. He just broke it down to a place where those who just knew the law, he understood it because he broke it down that you couldn't just run stuff on him. And I don't know if a lot of those with perhaps a lesser melanin count could understand him, because what he was talking about, he had the respect of his people because he respected his people. You would see him, he have special people. He would talk to the people who were housing compromised, to the ones that was, he didn't care. He just never cared. And when I got the call, and I saw a text coming from you and from others while I was in the town of DeWitt, doing town of DeWitt stuff, I just had to pull it together because it did. He was the kind of brother that you just expected to always be here.
Just always be here.
You just always expected to always be here. That we would always have that mind. We would have the mind of Langston McKinney with us, and I feel sorry for younger people coming up that never had those conversations with him. Because George, he will have a conversation that could take you 3 hours.
Listen, and the one
Easy.
thing that was consistent is that everybody has a conversation that they can share about with him.
Everybody.
Like everybody. You know, how many people, well, I ain't really talked to Brother Kilpatrick, I ain't really talk, but everybody can say they had a conversation with Judge McKinney.
Mm-hmm. Judge McKinney. The last conversation of depth that I had with him was in Wendy's on Erie Boulevard with my grandson. And my grandson, we going in, we supposed to be coming out. Judge McKinney was in there. All I'm gonna say is my grandson, we supposed to be getting food to go. He done sat down, ate his food, and told my papa, can I get something else?
You there long enough to go for lunch, dinner.
He was like, Papa, can I get something else? Because Judge McKinney was just being Judge McKinney. And I will always hold it, man. I don't know if I'll be able to go into Wendy's on Erie Boulevard without thinking of the people, me and Judge McKinney. He said, oh, go ahead. Y'all go ahead. Go ahead. We just talking. Just sending people through. And then we just got out of line talking. You know, he was a special man to me. For real. Just special. Yeah. Special.
Talking to Bernard Alex, with all the different titles, Town of DeWitt counselor. So DeWitt, let's talk about the town of DeWitt. So I'm driving down Erie Boulevard.
Town of DeWitt.
Town of DeWitt. And it said on the downtown, they have a board, you know, activities board.
Genesee and
Erie Boulevard, yes. Genesee Street and Erie Boulevard, the convergence where the DeWitt fire station is across the street, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm driving home and I see it says, first I said, what? And then it said Juneteenth celebration, DeWitt over at Ryder Park from 12 to 6 on Juneteenth Day.
Well,
I said, you know what I said, but not Alex. That's what I said. I said, how did DeWitt, so this is, 35 years, 36 years since the first Juneteenth celebration in Syracuse. In the 36th year of the Juneteenth celebration in Syracuse, come on, DeWitt, y'all here. What's
Come on
up?
Coming through. DeWitt.
So DeWitt and Juneteenth, talk to me, brother.
You know what? I pull back again what Judge McKinney, what I said about Judge McKinney, that people showed up. He had his community because his community knew he had them. And when I said I'm going to run, for town, and I was adopted to the call by, Linda Irvin and all that. And if you remember that first date was the recognition of Black History Month in the town of DeWitt.
Right.
Town of DeWitt is 188, 189. Of course, to acknowledge from Carter Jeepson and all of that Black History Month, that was a major thing to happen in the town of DeWitt. Since that time, it has been a conscious awakening in the town of DeWitt about the people, all people that make up the town of DeWitt. Not a segment, and not those who for generations have been able to sit at the table and have the conversations and but all people. We need to celebrate all people. And I've just been pushing that it is about us. For JD High School, go from we are JD, or JD School District, I should say, to go from we are JD to now together we are JD, is about recognizing it's about all of us and that we are better together. Saying all of that to say, not only do we recognize our town to do it, we recognize celebrated ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease in the month of May, and Pride in the month of June. And then while they're setting up for Pride in the month of June, the recreation department says, hold up, we need to talk about that because it's Juneteenth. I said, yes. And here we go. That in Ryder Park, it is an all DeWitt market, because we got a DeWitt market in the town of DeWitt. So you can come and get your vegetables, your fruit, and all of that for purchase. But there's going to be a whole lot of other free events going on. We're going to have a Kente flag in the town of DeWitt.
What?
Raised up. I'm like, y'all better come on out for this.
Yeah.
In the town of DeWitt from 12 to 6, free events and free things going on. I'll also put this in there too. Georgia, some people, if you're a vendor, because we're looking for vendors, we're looking for people that got tables. And if you have an organization, you want to put up a table about your organization, come. Because it's about celebrating people who serve a community. And we have all people in DeWitt. And as God be my help, bro, I'm going to celebrate the people of DeWitt with intentionality and celebration. So yeah, man, we got drummers, we got a whole celebration set, and interconnecting it with what's going on in the city, the ancestral dinner.
Later on that night.
DeWitt is putting all of that information together on the website so that they will see its events and everything going on. And we're excited about it. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it because it's just the beginning. Like I already told him, bro, George, get ready because Kwanzaa is coming up too. Now I'll put that out. So we are celebrating again this wonderful panacea of people here in DeWitt, and that don't sleep on us, because now with 481 in DeWitt, y'all all gonna be coming through.
Y'all be coming through.
Y'all gonna be coming through real soon. So we ready for you. We are ready.
That's outstanding. I know that there'll be some. I know legally, not legal. Law enforcement changes that's coming up. Interviewing for a new police chief. Not interviewing, but like.
Well, yes, the listing is going to be up for I'm for my little statement. To stay within the borders of that the town of DeWitt is going to commence a search for a new police chief, and the full focus of the town of DeWitt search will be on choosing a police chief who will continue the town's tradition of the highest level of police protection, professionalism, coverage, and service to the residents of the town of DeWitt. So we are doing that work, and with intentionality. It is going to be a search within and without. So for those men and women that, when it's posted, that have and meet those standards and the credentials necessary, don't be afraid to apply. And
going back to the history, like Judge McKinney, in terms of pioneers, first African American person, period, in 188-year history. So you're also a pioneer and a trailblazer as well in that community. And so I'm sure part of you looks at Judge McKinney, and I'm sure he probably had something to say to you about that.
You think he didn't? When he did, yeah, he did. He had a statement about that too.
And what did he say to you? What did he say to you?
I said, yes, sir. He said, wow, all right. He said, you got a responsibility, young man. People are expecting something from you.
Mm.
And don't you dare let our ancestors not sit at that, up on that. He said the word, what is called, I can't remember. You know where we sit? He said, you have
I call
all
it a
the
dais. Let's
ancestors
call it
sitting
a
up there with
dais.
you.
Let's call it a dais.
Yeah. He
Okay.
said, don't you dare let those ancestors that are seated up there with you be made ashamed.
Mm. Mm.
So he said, don't you do it. Don't, because all of them, see, because what people don't realize, George, is over 1,000 African Americans died building the Erie Canal coming right through DeWitt.
Wow.
Died.
Right.
See, that's the kind of information I'm going to put up that I'm determined we need to know. Died
that's
from
significant.
Dynamite, from the dynamite blast to, doing the work, the mudslides, drowning. African Americans were brought in and came in to help build the Erie Canal, and then could not live in the same community that they helped build. That part.
That
there
part.
were covenants set that Black and brown people could not live in certain neighborhoods in the town to do it. Now we helped build it, but then there's covenants set that we can't live in it. Which
makes the celebration of Juneteenth in the town so much more significant.
So much more. And I'm working on it. I got a meeting tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, thanks to you, to talk about how we need to walk that Erie Canal Trail. How that needs to be a part of it, because
and now, in the legacy of those men, now that you got right.
Yes.
Wow.
And
right.
The legacy
in honor
of those men. Yep.
That's powerful.
Who helped build, where the town hall and all of that goes right across all of that's right there. That helped build that, who gave their lives. If families suffered and died because of that, why shouldn't we honor that as a part of? And tomorrow morning I got a meeting about it.
So for people who want to, like you said, vendors, how do they get involved in becoming a vendor for the Town of DeWitt Juneteenth celebration, June 19th, 2024?
Yeah, they simply need to call. I should know this number by heart, but I'm gonna make sure I get the right number. The Town of DeWitt, and they can call 315-446-3910. Again, that's 315-446-3910. And listen to the prompts, and it's prompt number 9, and that's Parks and Rec. And they will gladly tell you what you need to do.
And the vendors are no charge for the vendors this year? Or is there a charge?
No charge.
Wow.
No charge.
No charge. That's outstanding.
We're looking for soul food. We're looking for all of it. Come on, Jamaicans, all of it. Whole diaspora.
Let's go. All right, Juneteenth celebration for the town of DeWitt on Juneteenth Day, June 19th, 2024. 315-446. Give me the rest of it.
315-446-3910. 3910.
3910. And come out and celebrate with the town. You have the Juneteenth weekend just before that, Juneteenth Day. Come out and and then we go downtown after that. And let me just put a plug in, and then fireworks at Bethany that night. So.
Oh yeah, because I told you, man, we're putting all of that on the webpage.
Yeah,
because
everything.
Celebrate it all. I
It's
told
going
you,
to be
right up on Erie and see Bethany fire up on the hill.
All right, listen, Bernard Alex, Dr. Bishop. Wait, I got to get all the titles.
Brother Alex.
Brother Alex.
That's what Judge McKinney used to call me.
Brother Alex.
Brother Alex.
Remembering Judge McKinney, but also telling us about the Juneteenth celebration. Continued good work, doing your work in the community and in Onondaga County, right? Because that's okay. Continue good work, my brother. Much success to you and your family.
Great for us.
Inspirations for the nation.